say
yes, please, Miracle.
that one of the things that always irks me, and you see it right now with the Diddy allegations,
Yes.
is there's always a contingent of people who want to say that somebody is being persecuted for being a black man because they're held to a higher standard than white men who create the same style of crimes.
Yes.
At the end of the day, what we need to be fighting for is for people not to be committing crimes, one. But when people feel like they need to or have to, the argument should not be that they don't get convicted, they don't get prosecuted. It's that they have an opportunity to have a fair chance at trial. If Adams was out here taking bribes, he needs to go to trial to prove whether he did or did not.
Yes.
It is not this, oh, y'all just want to take this black man down. Oh, there is some type of, conspiracy right now to come after our black men. Maybe our black men need to better themselves. Maybe our black men need to create a higher standard for themselves. And maybe we need to prepare our black men for being in power and in leadership positions so that when the enemy comes and tempts them with the all expense trip to Turkey or, something like that, they have the ability and the foresight and the wherewithal to either A, say no, or B, to report it. And maybe that's what we should be focusing on instead of saying that our black men are under attack.
Right. And the wild part is, in a full circle moment, remember, Eric Adams was also demonizing and really blaming New York's problems on the
immigrants. Yep.
On the immigrant community. And that was his main talking point. And it's like now, and now you're somebody, it comes to find out, actually what these immigrants or these migrants might have cost New York, you costed more
easily
by actually defrauding the city out of $10 million. Now, they said it was one text message where it was like, the guy was like, oh, we don't want to take this, bribe money, do we? He was like, yeah, take it and delete this message.
And it's kind of funny because all they had to do was report it, right? Yeah. All you and they're like, he's under a lot of scrutiny. It looks bad. You can still report it. Like literally, it is not that hard to register as a lobbyist and just do whatever you were going to do.
But we have if you report it, that doesn't make it cool, Miracle.
We have so much money and our politicians are literally bought and paid for. Right now in Pennsylvania, we have attorneys general's race where like one billionaire is like fronting another candidate. It's like 80% of the thing.
Yeah.
In St. Louis, the person who took out Cori Bush, 2/3 of his money came from a super PAC.
Yes.
Our politicians are already bought and sold for. And so this idea that you couldn't just take one extra step to just fill out some paperwork, nobody was going to say anything.
Miracle, in the words of my favorite black politician, That's Clay Davis from The Wire, for those that don't get that, our inside reference.
But that's just all it is. And it's just like,
I'm going to take any money if they going to give it to me.
I mean, there was another, I forgot the guy in D.C. They say they gave him like $15,000 in cash. And this is why one of the things, I know Dave Chappelle is not always people's favorite, but one of the things that's always stuck with me when he did his stand-up and he was talking about walking away from his original deal, he was like, his father always told him, you need to know what your price is. You're at some point in life, you're going to sell out. At some point in life, you're going to do something against your morals and values. You need to decide right now, what is your price? And what are you willing to walk away from? And what are you willing to give up? And I feel like a lot of these folks, they just like kind of luck into positions of power. And then they don't have the ability to say no because it's like they've always just wanted to be like the it person. And like now it's like when somebody comes to you and be like, hey, I got this money for you. Like you don't know how to be like, no, thank you. I think that's the benefit of like being like poor and growing up without anything. You already know how to survive on the bare minimum. So like sometimes when people bring stuff to you, you're like, oh, whatever, I don't need that. I know it's not like to have it, but there are other people who are just like, wait a minute, I get $10,000.
I mean,
first class ticket.
I think you
all
said
expenses included.
A lot of times, just like you said, like as black men, that when we look to aspire to positions of power, oftentimes those positions of power are occupied by white men. And so we think that we can get into these positions of power and behave like these white men behave, right? You know, there was a whole, you know, you mentioned Diddy and there was a whole conversation of like, so people was like, oh, well, you know, Hugh Hefner did it. And so, like, did that make it right? Because mad people came out and said that they were sexually assaulted at the Playboy Mansion, and all of these things happened there that were very negative, right? And so again, like, but you ain't Hugh Hefner. You're not a white man. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, I really think we have to get, again, like, devolve ourselves with the idea of that the highest point of power is like to be like these white men in power and be able to do all the things they do. This is one of the reasons why Trump is attractive to a lot of black and brown men, right? Because it's like, he's getting, I want that power. I want to be able to get, you know, this dude is openly, you know, according to allegedly openly having an affair. Like, Melania ain't around. He got this other, and people know it, but it's like, it's Trump. We're just Trump doing what Trump does. And that's what we have to really disavow ourselves. And we really have to say, like, no, and when we aspire to and get into positions of power, we need to be looking at and seeing, like, how can we improve the conditions of our community? Like, how can create a new dynamic, right? Where it isn't this white supremacist ideology of power, where power becomes this collective thing, right? Where all of us can collectively benefit, and not like one person with a bunch of yes men and lackeys, and now everybody going to jail. And then what's gonna happen when they come to jail? What you gonna think gonna happen? They gonna be testifying against you, nigga. They not gonna be. They gonna be on the stand like he did it. You know what I'm saying?